I'm Jeff Mack, a commercial real estate broker with Newmark Greb Knight Frank, and I'm pleased to welcome Fran Griesing. Fran is the founder of a Philadelphia law firm called Griesing Law. Welcome, Fran.
Jeff, thanks for inviting me to speak with you today. My vision for the firm and the launch are kind of intertwined. I've been a lawyer at this point now 35 years. At the time it was nearly 30, and I had practiced at many big firms, and I saw a lot of opportunity for a different kind of law firm that I thought could be successful, where people could be very happy practicing law, particularly women. So I was contemplating starting my own firm, but was really hesitant, and my daughter, who is now 26, but was then 19, kept pushing me and saying, "Mom, why aren't you starting your own firm?" And I said, "I'm afraid, I'm concerned I won't get clients." She started laughing at me and saying, "What do you mean you won't get clients? You already have clients. Why wouldn't you get more clients?" And she kept encouraging me that I should start a firm for women, which was my vision, and that I shouldn't be afraid to do it. And when I kept insisting that I was hesitant about doing it, she said, "What kind of role model will you be for me if you don't do this because you're afraid? You need to do this." And frankly, that was the thing that tipped it for me. Lots of people had pushed me, but she was the one who convinced me that I should do it. And my vision was to create a law firm, particularly for women initially, although we now have men working at our firm as well, and I think this applies to them as well. I wanted to create a law firm where everyone could reach their best potential, whatever that was for them. So they didn't have to fit into the traditional big firm model. They could be their own person and still succeed, and particularly when they were raising a family. Because historically, when people start to have families, particularly women, and they need to take time off because their children are sick or they have to go to a school play or anything like that, there was a perception that they weren't committed enough to their careers, and often even worse, it was perceived that maybe they weren't even good lawyers because they had to take time off. And I wanted to create a setting in which people could attend to their personal needs, whether it was children or parents or spouses, whatever that might be, and still be successful as lawyers. That was the vision for the firm. I was the city's lead litigation attorney under Mayor Ed Rendell before he became governor for the last 3 years of the Rendell administration. And that was a stunning opportunity because my responsibilities included representing the mayor, the city as an entity, members of city council, all the commissioners, anyone who had a high-level position in the city, and often the people on the street, police officers, firemen, you name it. If they had a problem or were sued, my department defended them. And so I supervised 75 trial lawyers, all defending the city, as well as the support staff that went with that. And we handled the most incredible matters, every possible thing you could think of. It was a very interesting job, but also a very intense job because it was before the time when people carried cell phones all the time. So, not that I didn't have a cell phone, but most people didn't actually carry them as routinely as they do now. So everyone in my position or similar positions carried a pager. And so if your pager went off, you had to then go find a payphone. They still existed then, and call the mayor's office or whoever was calling you to respond to whatever the emergency might be. And some of the fascinating things I got to work on were preparing for the Republican National Convention that happened while I was right after, but we were planning for it. The implosion of the sugar factory that is now the casino, and other implosions of major buildings around the city, dealing with fear of terrorism attacks, which wasn't as big a concern as it is now, but also simple things like defending a single police officer who was accused of maybe using too much force. So I got to see all different kinds of projects around the city, got to meet amazing people, and even got to tour underneath the Veterans Stadium after the Army-Navy game collapse of some of the stadium seats. So it was a wild ride. I learned that while working for Ed Rendell and working at the city, how to deal with high-profile matters, intense public scrutiny, being interviewed by newspaper reporters, and being careful about how something might be perceived if you're not thoughtful about it. I learned how to work well with a very diverse constituency, meaning both ethnically diverse, but age and gender diverse, and also just geographically diverse. I wasn't born here and I didn't grow up in Philadelphia, so I didn't appreciate till I worked for the city how much everyone's neighborhood meant to them and how people really identified in Philadelphia with their neighborhood. And that's been very helpful in understanding the different dynamics of my growing team here in Philadelphia as well.